I tried talking to the crisis team about abuse at the hospital. I was assaulted by a doctor for attempting it. So the judge wanted to send me back to that crisis lady. Not as a punishment or anything like that. He was just trying to brainstorm like everybody else does. Crimes have been committed against me by all these goddamn agencies. All right? You can't just send me back to the people who harmed me. That's not okay.
Thank you for calling 211. To continue in English, please press 1. Para continuar en español, marque 2.
Please enter the 5-digit zip code where you are currently located. If you do not know that zip code, please press the pound or hash sign.
For information on COVID-19, the flu, RSV, or Mpox, please press 0. If you would like housing information regarding services such as emergency shelter, rent assistance, or mortgage and foreclosure assistance,
please press 1. If you would like parenting information, including foster care provider support and child care services, please press 2. If you would like information about pesticides, or you would like to make a complaint about an incident involving pesticides, please press 3. If you are seeking help with paying an energy bill, like an electric bill, a natural gas bill, a water bill, or a bill for heating fuel, please press 4. If you would like to speak with a maternal and child health specialist about resources related to women's health exams, pregnancy, WIC, well child checks, contraceptives, or STI screening, please press 5. For all other services, please press the pound or hash sign. Please hold for the next available specialist. 211 Info strives to improve our services through community feedback. We would like to follow up with you in 2 weeks to see how useful the information was that we offered you today, and to see if you might need additional assistance at that time. Would you be willing to receive an automated call
One for
from
yes, 2 for
211
no.
Info at this number in a couple of weeks? Please press 1 for yes, 2 for no.
Thank you for calling 211. My name is... How can I help you?
211 are the only people that I've called in the last 7 years who have actually done their jobs as mandated reporters, and that's only been in the last 2 days.
Hey, I'm having a really hard time hearing you. You sound a little bit muffled.
Here, hold on a second. I got whoa. God damn it.
Power off.
There it goes. I didn't mean to hang up on the dude. I was trying to turn off my Bluetooth.
To continue in English, please press 1. Para continuar en
Please enter the 5-digit zip code where you are currently located. If you do not know that zip code,
Press
please
the
press the
pound sign.
pound or hash sign.
Pound sign. See, I can't
For
even speak
information
English now.
on COVID-19, the flu, RSV, or Mpox, please press 0. If you would like housing information regarding services such as emergency shelter, rent assistance, or mortgage and foreclosure assistance,
Please press 1. If you would like parenting information, including foster care provider support and child care services, please press 2. If you would like information about pesticides, or you would like to make a complaint about an incident involving pesticides, please press 3. If you are seeking help with paying an energy bill, like an electric bill, a natural gas bill, a water bill, or a bill for heating fuel, please press 4. If you would like to speak with a maternal and child health specialist about resources related to women's health exams, pregnancy, WIC, well child checks, contraceptive, or STI screening, please press 5. For all other services, please press the pound or hash sign. Please hold for the next available specialist. 211 Info strives to improve our services through community feedback. We would like to follow up with you in 2 weeks to see how useful the info was that we offered you today, and to see if you might need additional assistance at that time. Would you be willing to receive an automated call from 211 Info
One
at
for
this
yes,
number
2 for no.
in a couple of weeks?
I'm going to answer no.
Please press 1 for yes, 2 for no.
Thank you for calling 211. My name is Price. How can I help you?
Hello, my name is Sean Schwartz. 211 are the only people who have tried to do their jobs as mandated reporters. I've been through 7 years of abuse, and I've tried to turn it in. I've got a lot of the abuse recorded. I just can't get anyone to listen to me because of a situation where my best friend got shot in 2017. I am disabled. I do get disability money, but I spend most of my disability money having to pay people to help me with things that I can't do for myself. I get taken advantage of a lot, and I don't have a caseworker or a case manager I can turn it into. There's a place called TFCC that I keep getting sent to instead of the cops doing their jobs. TFCC is not going to do that job. They keep telling me that. They won't do their jobs as mandated reporters, and as a result, I've been through 11 months of abuse just here alone in Tillamook. I'm sorry about the traffic. I was forced into homelessness when Natalie got killed, and because of having Asperger's.
Cutting out there just a little bit.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
My phone probably is going to die here shortly, too.
Okay. Yeah, if you could just give me a couple details just before your phone dies, and we are mandatory reporters here at 211, and so I can look into getting that report submitted to APS.
Yes, sir. One of the issues that I have is with the Northwest Senior and Disability Services here. And I've been trying to... The problem is that I'm a homeless person. Like, all these services make money off of basically not doing anything about the crimes committed against us and sending us to other places to do that job. That's the thing about you guys at 211 is that you guys haven't tried to convince me that I need to try somewhere else to get someone to do their job as a mandated reporter. The problem is when all this issue started, I didn't have somebody like you guys to make the call with me, and all the services that I was sent to just wanted to argue. I did look it up. They're all mandated reporters. They're just all profiting from it. It's called Medicare and Medicaid fraud, and it's not okay.
Okay. Medicaid and Medicare fraud. Gotcha here. And you're located over there in Tillamook?
I am, but also the police. I'm not sure if you knew that they've been in the news recently. The police chief was arrested a few days ago for some stuff that I tried to turn in last year. I just got done with a court date today with a stalker named Murphy, who is one of many, many, many people who have stalked me over the death of Natalie Bollinger, and they just don't let up. And I have severe PTSD from this, and I have, obvious trauma reactions, but instead of treating me as if I'm a victim, I'm treated as if I must be a predator. I'm arrested for you know what stimming is? When someone's
No,
autistic.
I'm not familiar.
It depends on the situation. Sometimes it
Oh,
could be
okay.
it could be playing with something with their hands, but it also in a severe situation where they're afraid, like it might just be rocking and back and forth with their arms curled against their chest and making funny noises, and that gets us sent to nuthatches, and that takes away our voice. That allows us to be treated like we're mentally ill, and it allows our predators to say, "Hey, look, he was sent to the hospital," or she, in some cases too, because women go through this as well.
And this is how the local law enforcement is trying to deflect your attempts to contact them.
Yes, they've been in contact with me when situations are happening. I'm an at-risk and disabled adult. I literally can't take care of myself because of PTSD. And local law enforcement here keeps sending me to the Northwest Senior and Disability Centers, who sends me to TFCC, who sends me to Northwest Senior and Disability Centers. I'm a easy to talk over. I have stuttering issues, and I try hard to breathe so that I don't have those. But the mandated reporters here, basically, they're all friends. It's a small town, it's unavoidable. But the thing about being autistic is that I need peace and quiet in order to function. And being stuck in public after being targeted by the news over Natalie's death and in a lot of true crime things, like I get recognized anywhere I go. I just can't get anyone to look at the evidence. Now, I did have a court date today. One of my stalkers tried to pretend like I was stalking him. The police just took his word for it, but they won't take my word for nothing. And the thing is that I can't go the civil route without a friend or family member. I'm seriously that disabled.
Okay, let's see here. I'm gonna come up for a number. I'm gonna try to find a 24-hour EPS line that we can conference call with.
Yes, sir.
Just bear with me for a moment while I'm trying to find that.
Good luck. I've been at this for 11 months now, just here in Tillamook. But I'm bearing with you. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned that you're stuck in Tillamook. Are you perhaps interested in resources to relocate?
That's one of the issues that I have, is that I don't get to establish myself anywhere, and being bullied into moving, I can't just keep doing that. I live on a fixed income because I am disabled. It's $822 a month. It goes to my Direct Express card. I've done everything that I could to try to turn in the crimes committed against me, but law enforcement, as soon as they hear that you're homeless or you're trying to turn in law enforcement, their ears turn off and they start trying to send you in every other direction. It's nobody's job anymore,
Okay. I see here. So on my end, it doesn't. Okay, this isn't a 24-hour line, so we might not get connected. However, I do know that the Aging and Disability Resource Connection of Oregon is a 24-hour line, and they do take in-depth
They
APS
they
reports.
don't. They send us to
And
Northwest Senior and
thank
Disability
you.
Services here, who is the Adult Protective Services here. I've already been to them. They sent me to Tillamook Family Counseling Center. They're the other ones, and they just send me back and forth, and they'll send me out the door with the paperwork. Nobody ever provides me a safe place to do that paperwork. I have to do it from out in public with people who are obviously hostile, and I've recorded their hostility. I have evidence of everything that I say. The police don't want to help me because I'm homeless, and that's what it comes down to. When I first came to this town, and I was trying to tell them what was going on, I was bullied in the last town into moving on, where I have to deal with drug addicts and drug dealers taking advantage of me, stealing from me, promising to help but not showing up. The police just kept on sending me around to the mental health places in Hood River, and that's where this guy James Murphy first started stalking me, is in Hood River, because the police lied to him. And then here I've got police officers like Officer Lotham going around and telling people that I'm a child molester and stuff like that. I've never been charged with any sort of crime against a child for a reason. Officers shouldn't be
Okay,
spreading
and
those
that's a
kind of
police officer.
rumors. That is a police officer. Also, the police chief, Ray Rao, was arrested a week and a half ago. He was.
Okay, and
Go ahead.
oh, I was gonna ask what Ray Rao did.
He was stealing drugs and money from the locker. I have some recordings from, I believe, last year now, about that. Some young women here in Tillamook were talking about specific officers who were, some of the drugs that they were getting weren't even making it to evidence. That's where a lot of their issue ended up. But he was arrested for that. I've been speaking up since I got here about this kind of corruption and the way that homeless, disabled people are just denied all of their rights. I had housing, and I was going through all of the hoops that I had to in order to get help. But even jumping through all the hoops that I had to in order to get help stopping abuse back in 2016, the abuse continued until Natalie Bollinger got shot in the head in 2017. People tried to blame me for it. Now, they did catch the guy that did it, but not until police had already committed a whole bunch of felonies to try to paint me as a violent and dangerous person. I was never allowed to turn them in.
I
They
see.
wouldn't allow me to turn them in because they pressed charges against me, claiming I assaulted them, and they had to drop the charges eventually. But the thing is, my public pretenders wouldn't even try to get the body cameras. The police officers lied in every single one of those situations just because I didn't have a friend or family member there. They don't want to do their for a homeless person, so they'll lie in any way, shape, or form that they can so that they don't have to, including talking over the victim and selling a false narrative, and I've got a lot of evidence of that as well.
Okay. So I've got those notes down here. So what I will do is I will call, and I will report this,
Sir,
to
I
the
wanted to
local
say,
agency.
I wanted to say I am not
Yes.
safe, and also that the local APS agency is Northwest Senior and Disabilities. I can't turn them in to themselves. They committed crimes to
I see.
every single service here. Like I said, they've been sending me around in circles instead of even finding out what my disabilities are. They just want me to fill out paperwork by myself. If they allow me a room, it's only if somebody is sitting there with me, talking at me, talking over me, and telling me what it is I am and am not allowed to tell them. Like, you guys are actually listening instead of dictating what I'm allowed to tell you, which makes you significantly different from them because it's unprofessional behavior. I know that you guys are the
Okay, I
information line,
understand.
and I'm supposed to call you guys for the numbers. But the thing is, all of these places have already given me the numbers to all these other places. It ends up with me running around in circles and being sent to places that it's dangerous for me to go. I have people that threaten my life literally everywhere that I go. Natalie Bollinger's death was very popular, and
Right.
it's
Okay.
still very popular. People threatening to harm me everywhere that I
I
go
see. And
because
that
I was
happened
forced into. It happened in 2017 in Colorado.
in Colorado. Okay. I see here. So I have found a 24-hour line. It is the statewide Aging and Disability Resource Connection, and they are 24/7. And if you say that you want to make an abuse report, they should take an in-depth report.
I'm going to tell you before we
And
do this.
collect
I'm
all
going to tell you
information
before.
that you have.
Stop. All right, you're telling me something that I've already been through. You're telling me what they should do. If you make the call with me, you'll
Okay.
realize that it's not open 24/7. It's going to be an answering machine, and they're not going to ever call me back. If they do call me back, it'll
Okay.
be from a restricted number, and I have stalkers who call me from restricted numbers, sometimes hundreds of them a day. I can't tell the difference between a government agency and a uh, somebody threatening to kill me or my family.
Okay, certainly. If I manage if I could put you on a brief hold, and if I manage to get somebody on the phone, would you be willing to talk with them?
Yes, sir. Depending on who it is, but yes, sir. I would give it I would
Okay.
give it an attempt.
Okay. So I'm going to put you on just a brief hold here, Sean, and then I'm going to call over and see what I can do. It'll just be a couple minutes here.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Elevator music does not help. Hey, Sean, are you there? Yes, sir.
Okay, I have Serena from Aging and Disability Resource Connection on the line here.
Very good.
And do you feel comfortable with me getting off the call so you can complete your report here with Serena?
My best. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Have a wonderful night, Sean. Thank you for calling 211.
Thank you. Hi. I have a lady named. They hung on me. They hung up on me. They hung up on me, Miss Shelley. Yeah, it's you should hear the 911 call that I made when all that racism was going on. I suppose I should probably, I'm down to 10% battery. Can I play for you some of the stuff that I'm going through? And understand that the place they're sending me to, this can't just keep happening. It's nearly impossible to get someone on the phone to begin with who doesn't talk over me. And that guy from 211, he was able to get an actual person on the line, which it never has been with me. I don't have their number to call them. This is in the Dalles, Oregon. Here, let me pause it. I'm gonna try to reconnect my Bluetooth speaker.
Power on. Pairing.
I'm also gonna move to the other part of the parking lot because that'll allow me to charge up my battery, and also the people who are over here at the house next door are pretty nice to me. I don't want them to have to hear this. Oh, come on. Sorry, I'm trying to show you the video. It's called Jamie Again, and it's on my channel. He chases her down. He runs up to her and then he socks her in the back of the head. She's just trying to get away from him.
Hey! We can't have people hitting.
Alright, I'm going to explain what happened there. You can find it on my YouTube channel. It's called Jamie Again. There's also several of them with Sarah Bacon, and I've posted a few of them up recently too. After Natalie was killed, a lot of people offered to help me, but most of them were just messing with me. They were just internet sleuths that thought, well, hell, there's this disabled dude, and we can fuck with him until he has a mental breakdown, and then, of course, that'll help out women everywhere, or something like that. I don't know. The thing is that Natalie Bollinger never accused me of doing any sort of horrible shit like that. She just pretended I stalked her because she was embarrassed. She didn't accuse me of anything beyond that. Well, alright, there's a lot of stuff that she claimed that I did that I actually did. That was all stuff that her and her sister asked me to do. And that's messed up. The other end of the parking lot will only take 1 minute to get over there. So, not even that. I just don't feel like being a jerk to the people in houses. Especially since some of the stuff that I'm recording can get pretty loud. And some of it I have to have the Bluetooth speaker for, otherwise people aren't even going to be able to hear it. We all have our own shit. You're right, Miss Mojo Rising. That's the problem. Saying I'm just a person. Yeah, we're all people. Whether or not something is done comes down to whether or not we care about each other enough to do something. To speak up when it makes a difference. You type no worries. That makes me think that you're British. Just a guess. Alright, let's get to playing this. Hopefully my battery won't die too soon, but it's down to 9% now. Let's see. We'll find the next one. Dealing with a crap ton of abuse by the local community. It's how it is everywhere in America. If you're homeless, it's horrible. Let's see, is this the actual thing?
Run me out of town. Back away. That's my deal. Get the fuck back away.
Let me back it up and we'll find out the name of it.
Showed up at 3:30 on a Friday. I've been at this for weeks here.
If you're in the USA, you can help turn it in. I mean that this is really happening. Hopefully it'll say the name of the video and you can look it up on my channel yourself. I'm a dick, no joke.
The police station is the same exact building as the fire station. Right across the street from that place.
This is in Warrenton.
But that's not why he came over to harass me. See, if he actually believed the things that he was saying, he would have followed the proper. And he didn't.
This is the only way I can do this from my car, and I apologize.
And that lady laughing about the situation, that's for surely not appropriate. She couldn't keep herself from laughing and smiling. While she lied through her to my face, she just couldn't help herself.
Oh, you're gonna have to see that video too. Oh man. The professional help they have there is because we
Stop
also homeless
laughing
shelter
about it.
elsewhere.
Turns out the day before, the police came and harassed me over that situation. And that was over at the library.
Now, libraries aren't safe,
Repeatedly, they try to harass
especially
you
when cops are your predators.
and make you out to be some sort of a horrible person, trying to insinuate things just by their arrival and the way they park in many cases. They like to park in an area in a place that is going to
Yep,
make
they're on my
the biggest
YouTube channel.
scene possible, to draw the most attention.
They also like to tone bully you when you try to turn them in.
Let's see how much battery I got on this.
They will protect your predators. It's called racketeering. I think I got that right, the right definition.
3%.
3%.
I guess I'm going to have to...
Come on, what's the name of the friggin' video? Was I able to put a link in it? Alright, Sergeant James Pierce is at the end of the video. Let's see, the license number, I have that written down. This is all stuff I was going to try to show the judge, try to show him today, but with my predator, my stalker not showing up today, and him trying to get a protection order against me, like that ended up being really screwed up. This one right here might be one where I'm actually bullied a couple times by police. Doing their job. I'm not sure if you're understanding that everybody wants to push me into housing, but the thing is, once it's already safe because of the police and the mandated reporters not doing their job, shoving me into housing and shoving me into housing in an unsafe place. Not only that, this lady is talking to me literally here at the library. Let me show you. All right, see that parking spot that I'm in right there? It's the same exact parking spot. Familiarity, that's right, autism. It's the same exact spot that I'm in right now. It's the same exact spot that guy pulled up right there and wanted to threaten my life. This is a different library. I'm at the Tillamook Library now. Now somebody was here sweeping the day that Well, Ryan was sweeping that day in the morning when the cops came over, right over here, to harass me. Now, the recording with Officer McCoy shows that he did not, in fact, give me one of his cards. All right, come on. All right.
F word, trying to pretend like I must
Me trying to turn the dude in. At least I can turn on my phone. Where is the video at? Play. Now, as you guys know, the connection in that building sucks. But at least I'll get to press play, and we'll get to listen to the audio recording without having to do a bunch of special crap to download it onto the internet. I finally got housing in Chapel, Nebraska, and what happened? That ain't. I'm sorry, this is like a 2-hour-long video, and it's hard to stop it on the situation. I'm trying to find the actual name of the video. Maybe if I type Warrenton. I was able to find it once, you know.
Go back.
Well, I haven't been back. I left there. There was a safety issue, and I left. You coming and harassing me over those people is not okay. I left. I haven't been back in 3 days. I haven't tried to go back. I'm not interested in going back. You are harassing me. It is not appropriate for you to come do this here.
They asked me to.
Now, what is your name?
My last name is Burns.
All right. Can I get your card?
I don't have any right now, but they're at the police department.
I don't have any. Can he just listen to me like a person without getting an attitude? And that's the thing about, I don't have property. I have no safe place to be. Police can come and harass me at any point in time wherever I go. I have to be dependent upon the kindness of others, and there really ain't a lot. This one's called And Another Predator and Need a USB Stick and Protection from Law Enforcement. It's from July 13th of 2023. Let me see. Orange non-emergency number. To me and started harassing me and cursing at me. It took me a minute to get this thing going. I need help. I need help in this kind of harassment. This man pulled over. He's in the road. He pulled over in the road to harass me and started yelling at me and accusing me of harassing people and telling me to get out of this town. Telling me I needed to leave this town and he's going to... That's the problem with mandated reporters. They don't want to do their jobs. And then when you try to tell on them for not doing their jobs, they'll bully you. The moment somebody starts playing stupid, that's when you need to dip out. So if you know the laws and the rules and regulations in your area well enough, you'll know exactly when you're getting friggin' lied to. And of course, the police keep changing their story depending on who it is. I have multiple situations recorded with the police in Warrenton about the situation, not just with this man, but also with others. Run me out of this town.
You need to run out of town right now.
You hear me? You hear that right there? He's doing this.
You need to run away. You need to go away.
You hearing this? He's trying to bully me and harass me and intimidate me into leaving. This is not okay. He is trying to bully me and harass me, same as the police. He needs to stop.
You need to stop, motherfucker.
You hear this? He's cursing at me and bullying me and berating me, and I'm going to get his license plate number. His license plate number, he's got a red passport. Honda. License plate number VRY 975. And he is threatening me with violence.
No, I'm not. I'm telling you.
He is threatening me with violence.
I'm telling you right now, you need to get the fuck out of this town.
You hear this? This man will not stop harassing me. He pulled over to harass me, and now he's threatening me and intimidating me.
Can I talk to you for a second?
He is wanting to get his voice heard after he pulled over. And then he wants to talk to me for a second. Well, maybe he should have tried that before he got out to be angry and be screamy. He should have realized that I can get angry and screamy back. This is something officers want to do to me frequently and often. They do that to a lot of at-risk adults. They talk down to us like we're dogs and bully us. This guy right here is not a cop. The video that I played literally right before this one that I played a few seconds of, that officer there was harassing me over a place called First Steps, which is supposed to help autistic people. But the thing is, one of their officers walked in to harass me while I was there. He didn't go in there looking for them. He came in there to harass me and accuse me of being wanted for questioning and a murder. I'm like, no, that ain't the fucking case. This is fucking bullshit, and cops need to stop this. Miss Mojo Rise and type, yes, keep your records on a data stick. I've got a bunch of them. The problem is I can't process all of this stuff. There's no possible way. It's inhumane. I have literally thousands of recordings on my channel. Hundreds and hundreds of recordings with witnesses. But I have no place to process it where I'm safe. I have to depend on others, and most of them are alcoholics or drug addicts. And that's a difficult pill to swallow, that most of the people that are into this true crime stuff that might care enough to actually be able to do some good are too drunk or fucked up on drugs to do any good. Miss Mojo Ryerson typed, I know First Step. Are you in Oregon? I'm in Tillamook, Oregon. I was in Astoria, Oregon, and Warrenton, Oregon just, I don't know, a couple of months ago. That guy who was stalking me here from Hood River, I had to flee here because of that piece of shit, and I had to go somewhere else. Thank goodness a nice lady named Mia gave me, well, a guy here at a fireworks stand wanted his friend Mia to get safely home to Astoria. So he paid me $80 and I drove her there, and that got me safely away for a couple of days, sort of. If it weren't for the fact that the cops up there are just as rotten as anywhere else. Miss Mojo Ryerson typed, if you have YouTube, it will always be here. No, that's not true. I've been trying to get YouTube to release another account to me that has a lot of evidence on it that I was trying to get help and I was being abused for it. They're taking advantage of the fact that I can't function in a constant state of fear. What is anybody going to do against James Murphy? See, now if I go on to the next town and he follows me there, I'll have to start over again. Anyway, this guy just keeps on doing this through the video. He calls me calls me some racial stuff, calls me some crazy stuff, calls me some derogatory anti-homosexual stuff, and I'll play some more of that for you from here in Tillamook too, because it's everywhere.
Threaten me, and now he wants to call names. All right, I did not ask for this. I did not ask for this.
You asked for this.
This guy right here will not leave me alone. I did nothing to him, but he is down here harassing me. Get away. Get away from me. You are making it unsafe. You are threatening me and harassing me. I feel unsafe, 100%. You just got out of your vehicle after threatening to assault me. Back up.
I didn't threaten to assault you.
Back up.
When did I threaten to assault you?
You also said you was going to run me out of town. Back away from my vehicle.
To get the fuck
Back away. You're going to make me.
No.
Are you going to make me leave?
You've been harassing people.
I have not harassed anyone.
Right.
I have not. Back up. Leave me alone.
You have been.
Leave me alone. Back up. Stop harassing me. Leave me alone. Back up. Stop harassing me. Back up. Back up. Leave me alone. Back up. Leave me alone. Nobody asked you to stop and harass me. Go away and leave me alone. Go away. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Stop harassing me. Stop cursing at me. Stop. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
Go back over there and video anything right now.
Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave alone! Leave me alone! Leave me alone! Leave me alone!
I went to First Steps. I was there once. The one time that the officer went in there with me. Now, no matter how hard I tried to turn in that bully, I was there for about 2 weeks worth of bullying out of police officers. 2 weeks of bullying out of all of these services the same way that I am here, sent around in circles. Apparently, I'm not disabled enough to get assistance, but I'm too disabled to turn in a police report or be allowed one of those interrogation rooms, or they're supposed to call them interview rooms. And victims are supposed to be allowed them if they have the need for a safe place. If it's a traveler coming through, they're supposed to help us out, not harm us. Not force us to move there where hostile police officers live and make it so that we have to go to services where there's a bunch of drug addicts that are there. And then the drug addicts are catered to because they're local. Miss Mojo Rising type, can I give you a little advice? No, you can't. Without a friend or family member to help turn this in, or someone to act in the manner of a friend or family member and say, yes, I've seen this, I just get blown over. I need a friend or family member to call it in immediately when these things happen, because if I call it in, nobody's going to listen. I go to the people that I'm supposed to right after a crime is committed. Right after this guy did this, when I was able to stand up, I did. But this guy keeps on continuing. I mean, I'm not interested. I'm not gay, but I'm not straight. I'm not interested. And the LGBT community is supposedly behind that until they meet somebody who's actually not interested. And then it's, oh no, you're not LGBT. You're straight. You're a hetero. And these are hate crimes. This guy calls me a murderer too.
What kind of fucking douchebag are you?
Leave me alone!
Why would I want to leave you?
Leave me alone! 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 Leave me alone!
Alright, I guess that one right there, the problem is that without the Bluetooth speaker, I'm actually going to turn it off because it's a little loud. For these videos, I don't think that I need to play it like that. That's an hour and 8 minutes long video.
Leave me alone! Leave me alone! Leave me alone! Leave me alone! Leave me alone!
I went to mandated reporters and they wouldn't do their jobs.
I didn't catch the last part of it, but I definitely said it.
Alright, so there's also the recordings of the police there bullying me. There's quite a few of those. But what we're going to focus on right now is, let's see. Here's the one that was 8 days earlier. Recording for my safety from First Steps and law enforcement in Warrenton, Oregon. Warrenton Officer Burns, a day after the city manager's meeting about me. That's right, they had a city manager's meeting about me and I recorded it. This is a day after a city planner's or a city manager's meeting. And this is like literally over a week after the last time I talked to those people at First Steps. The moment somebody starts playing stupid with me, it lets me know that the next step is for them to play victim, and it's probably a good time to get out of there. The problem is the officer's a friend of hers, so they had a city manager's meeting about me, and then this happened over at the library.
Well, I haven't been back. I left there. There was a safety issue, and I left. You coming and harassing me over those people is not okay. I left.
Like this is 8 days after I left and didn't go back, and it was after this interaction that that guy started yelling at me. Now let's go to let's see. Kyron Rhodes, Sean David. All right. Friday, 9/8/2023 at 11:05 p.m. All right, so this is me calling in a guy who had literally just driven by me and screamed some racial shit at me. Or no, he called me the anti-LGBT F word. Who are you? Well, now you're on another live video. You're on here. You know what? You're on here. You're on a live video. You pulled all right, this one I suppose I do have to, but I'm going to start screaming here in a minute at him. Right now. And see, that's the thing. You need to stop harassing me, stop yelling racial slurs, stop yelling F words at me. Go. You ain't got no reason to bully me. You ain't got no reason to intimidate me. Now let's take a look at this vehicle right here. Whether you're a minor or not, you're committing a crime. Now get the hell out of here. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. No doesn't mean no when a man says it. Leave me alone doesn't matter when a man says it. Leave me alone. Make me, bitch. Make me. Get out that fucking car and make me, bitch. I got sick of his shit. You're gonna make me leave Tillamook County? You're gonna make me leave Tillamook? You're gonna make me? You wanna keep on threatening me? You wanna keep intimidating me with your little bullhorn and your little rally and your racist bullshit, you fucking coward? You learned that shit from your bitch ass mommy, huh? Yeah, I went off on him. He calls me a whole bunch of fucking hateful shit and that, of course. With the way that I was yelling at him, would you expect anything less? I got sick of this a long time ago. Now this is going to continue in this video for a few. But we're also going to go to the video where they had the little wannabe KKK rally. Let's see. Misty Potter. Miss Mojo Ryan typed, I lived in Lincoln City, Oregon on a cliff and 3.5 months. All right.
Power off.
We'll fast forward to this one to where it starts. This video is about... Is this the long one? Yeah. Youngins here tonight. They're not yelling. They're not screaming or shouting. I was talking about how good they were doing. There's the N-word. Well, there they start with the N-word already. Repeated harassment calls, threats over the phone, threats in real life. They're not yelling at me. Of course, they're... And here they're about to pull out the bullhorn. Alfie Templar type, yeah, stand in line, 6 feet apart, stand in doorways, don't breathe. That's right, and no cigarettes unless the lights are off and under the blankets. Them youngins are... See, there's the bullhorn. I don't have a home because of abuse and slander. How isn't that cute? And then they claim they're not saying anything racist. Come into view and start yelling racist slurs. And then, of course, there's the megaphone thing. Right? I got a lot of videos where they just keep on doing this stuff, no matter where I go. I'm not allowed to get help. I'm sent to places that talk over me and don't recognize the sheer quantity of abuse that I go through, or how often this happens. I don't have a way to stop it without people speaking up for me. A lot of people want to tell me to call this place and call that place. It's the fact that I don't have a friend or family member calling these places with me and saying, hey, this shit is happening. This guy is being abused. He can't take care of himself. Obviously, he wouldn't be paying people if he was able to do this shit himself. Obviously, all this is getting me is ripped off. There's a lot of appointments that I've gone to, and they just talk in circles around me. All of these places I've explained, I need a mandated reporter to do their job, and when they didn't do their job at every single place here, what did I get? I got sent right on back to the same places I started off with. Anyway, Miss Shelley, you have typed a shit ton on here. If I type that much, it hurts my thumbs a lot. That's one of the issues with people in modern day, just wanting to type-a-roo. I remember when we had pagers, okay? That kind of made sense. If there's an emergency, they can look at their phone, realize there's an emergency, and make a telephone call. Nowadays, why don't you just call? Anyway, I've had to deal with this stuff from one end of the country to the other, and I need help turning it in. I need help from somebody who's willing to speak up. There's one called Marcia Estrada. And mind you, in all these videos, they call me racial stuff. They call me the N-word. In Chapel, Nebraska, for almost a decade, they called me the N-word lover because I stuck up for black people. You say the N-word, I say I don't like that word. I'm also told that I'm privileged to be disabled and ignored and homeless. I was forced into homelessness because police wouldn't do their job for a disabled at-risk adult in housing. They wanted to tell me to do a bunch of stuff that I needed help doing and didn't have help doing. I was forced to move to the Front Range of Colorado because that's all these mandated reporters would do, is try to pressure me to move somewhere else over and over. It's now been 7 years of me having to stay with drug dealers and drug addicts and alcoholics. People who beat their own children. There was even people that I stayed with, I found out later they were molesting their own kids. I gotta turn in a lot of crimes committed by a lot of people. But it has to be done as quickly as possible. When all a predator has to do is call you mentally ill and magically no crime was committed, no harm, no foul, and they can do it again and again because nobody's going to listen, you have to have a friend or family member to help you. Miss Mojo Ryzen typed, I don't like that word. Sad, very sad, yes. I'm sorry that there's a delay when I speak here. I think it's like a 30-second delay before a comment pops up. I have literally thousands of screenshots. The problem is everything that I have is full of evidence of threats, harassment, intimidation, gaslighting, and even some catfishing, which is really creepy to me because I'm not used to having to tell a bunch of women no. One woman promised that she'd help me, and I could tell from her Facebook profile that she was still living with her parents and she was having baby fever and trolling for an older guy, and I wasn't having that. That's not help. That doesn't help me, and it certainly doesn't help her. Anyway, I need help trying to turn this in. Every day that I'm stuck here, And don't tell me to move somewhere else. I can't. I can't just keep going through this everywhere that I go. Hood River, Warrenton, Tillamook, Astoria. Like, wherever I go, cops are going to treat me horribly. I didn't kill Natalie Bollinger, and I didn't stalk Natalie Bollinger. Her and her friends stalked me, and when I tried to get help, they used that to pretend like I was stalking them. What are the things you're supposed to do when you're being harmed or bullied? You're supposed to go to the person who's bullying you and ask them to stop and tell them how it makes you feel. If the bullying is because of a rumor, go to the source of the rumor. I did that. That was used to pretend I was a stalker. Then, of course, you're supposed to go to your friends and family. I did that. That was used to pretend that I was some sort of a stalker. Then I went to the police to try to get help. And that was used to try to pretend like I was some sort of a stalker. And I went round and round in circles while people pretended like I never went to the police. And all the police have to do is go, oh, he's mentally ill. Let's see. We'll get the one with Marcia Estrada. Well, we might go to Danelle Boggs first. We've got conversations with her. A lot of these are me bitching about these places, actually. Library Feller at Safeway, Danelle Boggs, Storage, and Jared's grandma. Okay, that's going to be kind of a tough one to go through because it's a lot of different videos. We'll go to Marcia Estrada. This is it. It's called Marcia Estrada, LIMHP, talking about Cindy Taylor, Jen Beebe, Tamara DaCosta. I've tried to turn this abuse in nationwide. I'm told that I deserve the abuse because I record it, or told, well, you shouldn't have recorded it, literally by police officers telling me this stuff. And then, of course, if there's just like half a second at the very beginning of the video where it's not recorded, they're like, well, we don't see the beginning of it. Well, that's why I try to record 24 hours a day. So if I record, I'm the bad guy because I record. If I don't record, then I'm an idiot because I didn't record. No matter what, it's a catch-22. By the way, Miss Mojo Rising, or Miss Shelley, two of my predators live in Florida. Cara Rogers and Aaron Cockerham, and they were both predatory towards each other as well. People get crazy. There's also a couple of people up here who are trying to get a hold of illegal firearms. One of them is a guy named Chris Stafford, and he's recorded on my channel doing that. There's also Amanda, and she's claiming that Chris stole her mom's gun. Well, her mom and her are claiming that Chris stole her mom's gun. And you can scroll through the screenshots for each of these, that there's a piece of evidence on the front of each of them. Sometimes it's not a piece of evidence to the story I'm telling. It's a piece of evidence that my friends and family were threatened, harassed, or intimidated. And myself as well. There's literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of witnesses. Let's see. Miss Mojo Rising typed, it's okay. Catfishing people are sick. Sean, it's midnight here. I need to sleep, but I can listen for a few. I've had a stalker for 20 plus years. It sucks. It sucks when I don't have a stalker. I have literally hundreds of them. You should type up Natalie Bollinger, and you'll see why people hate me. I've been trying to show evidence that the things they're saying about me aren't true for years. But most of my friends are too busy getting drunk to give a shit. The one called Marcia Estrada, LIMHP. I was listening to it and writing the names down. She states outright that I am not schizophrenic, that I am not delusional, that I do have PTSD. She also states outright that a police officer cannot diagnose somebody with schizophrenia. Now, I tried telling that today to a mental health lady after court. I tried telling her that the police in Colorado tried to diagnose me as schizophrenia, or as schizophrenic, and she wanted to interrupt me to tell me that they can't diagnose schizophrenia. I said, I know. And I have to interrupt them every fuck time. I'm literally blatantly telling them that officers broke the law, and they're repeating back to me that they are aware that the law was broken. They're aware that that's against the law, but instead of them doing something about it, they're trying to insinuate that it couldn't have happened because no police officer would ever break the law. And we all know different. So the Bollinger family and their friends got to harm me greatly. I didn't have the ability to start a GoFundMe. The two people that started GoFundMes for me were just scamming people. That's Candace Bondurant and Cara Rogers. Meanwhile, there's conversations with Cara Rogers on this channel and Aaron Cockerham, as well as Kayla Trujillo and many others. There's a lot of witnesses on here. If you look at a video called Miss Peaches the Liar, it's basically just me screaming, but there's 116 conversations with witnesses in the comment section. There's a couple of them that it's me talking about a situation after the fact, but most of them are the actual conversations of me getting blown off and sent in every other direction. When I did have housing, it really didn't matter that I had housing because Christopher Kurth kept on abusing me. That thing where I showed you that Jamie was punched in the back of the head, I've got footage here in Tillamook of people smoking those blue pills in kids' parks after dark. There's recordings of people coming up to me and offering me drugs of every sort and asking if I'll give them drugs of any sort. The answer is always no. I've got recording after recording on here where I have personally stepped in between people and the people they were harming. Most of the time, just like that Jamie Again video, all I have to do is scream. There's also mandated reporters retaliating against me because I told on them. People like Veronica Bruce of Region 2, Nebraska. I know it's midnight there and you probably got to go to sleep, so I'm going to let you. Thank you, Miss Mojo Rising, for talking. I wish somebody would make the call with me because I have to call that place back. Instead of typing at me advice like stop trusting everyone, I don't trust anyone. I am desperate and I have to trust someone. I have no friend or family member I will get talked over. That's the problem with giving people advice. And I'm not supposed to say that because then I'm being an asshole and burning bridges. But no, I'm being honest. I don't trust a single person on this planet. And this channel is, well, it's pretty blatant and obvious why. People pretend that this shit doesn't happen. I'm told that I have to record it, but then I'm victimized for recording it. I'm forced to go to the police for them to investigate themselves. That's obviously not a good fucking idea. Without a friend or family member to make the calls and say, hey, you need to take this shit seriously, they're not going to take it seriously. You also notice how when I called the access line, they weren't open 24/7, were they? They kept going directly to their voicemail, but he got somebody on the line, and then he hung up on us. If you could at least testify to that. I mean, obviously, you're not going to be coming here to testify in court, but you can make the calls. You can make call after call after call to the governor's office and say, hey, this guy is telling the truth about this corruption, about the bullying, about the hatred. I scream that stuff back. Only when necessary. Only when it is a super scary fucking situation. When I'm bullied everywhere I go because police just want to pretend that I'm wanted for murder or that I've been in jail for murder, I've never been to jail for murder. I've never been charged with murder. I've also never been charged with child molesting or any child-related offense, where most of my predators have. The problem with people with names on the internet, like Miss Mojo Rising, is that it needs to be pushed to the media as heavily as possible. I don't want to act like my predators. I don't want to have to act like them in order to get help. I don't want to have to threaten people back, because all that does is get me arrested. But you know what else it does? It shows that it's only wrong one way. I tried to get protection orders against these people, and I tried to get the police to do something about the repeated assaults. You know what really prevents me from getting assaulted as much as I used to? The fact that I record it. Instead of helping me to put a stop to the abuse, I'm ignored until they get sick of me, and then they try to bully me into moving elsewhere. This can't be acceptable. When they try to make these claims about jurisdiction, they're wrong. They're outright lying. And that's a major issue as well, because this stuff does need to go to another jurisdiction. But it can't go to Clatsop County because they refuse to do their job. I was in Clatsop County trying to turn in the fact that I was sent to multiple Clatsop County services when I tried to turn in the services here in Tillamook. I was still in Tillamook, having to call their 800 resource lines and their other assorted lines for them to tell me they can't do anything because they're in the wrong jurisdiction. For them to do that exact thing from another jurisdiction over crimes committed by the officers here in Tillamook. The cops here just won't stop fucking up. And I told you they're gun hungry. I told you they're evil. Miss Mojo Rising type, yes, I can call and I can write them. Thank you very much. If you call them, thank you. If you write them, which they probably will, want it written, you can show them evidence of this, of what I'm going through. Explain that I am disabled, that I am recording everything, and that I'm being treated as a person for recording it. I'm doing the best that I can, but I can't stop this abuse alone. There's a lot of other stuff that sounds real crazy until you look at the evidence and you realize I'm telling the truth. I've had to deal with people who believe in aliens and Bigfoot and Sasquatch and the Keister Bunny and all sorts of other stuff as grown-ass adults. Also, I have to drive down to the Tillamook Sporting Goods parking lot because that's the only reasonably safe place I have. The one called Marcia Estrada, the one that's actually Marcia Estrada LIMHP, that one is really super important because it does show my diagnoses. it does show that obviously I'm not schizophrenic. Obviously, hospitals should have listened to me instead of listening to police officers who, by name, I was trying to turn in. The same thing they do here. They send me to Officer Lotham when I'm trying to turn in Loffman. There's also multiple recordings with people on my channel talking about him trying to entice homeless women into having sex with him. Sometimes using drugs. But I can't possibly go through it all. There's over 7,000 now. Natalie was killed in 2017 in December. I have to relive the trauma in order to go through this stuff, and my physical disabilities, like my right wrist doesn't work. It hates me. I have problems holding on to stuff to this day. That's because Waylon Lola decided that he was going to assault me in a hospital. They were trying to feign an assault so they could charge me as a dangerous and violent person, and then they had to drop charges. Now, the evidence in their body cameras shows that I was trying to assist the Adams County detectives, and the cameras from the Adams County detectives shows them asking me to do those things. So why don't they put those two together? Oh, yeah, because I'm a homeless person and no one cares. Miss Mojo Rising typed, I will watch and leave you comments on your VT. I will try to get things transcripted for you. Well, they're already transcripted on it, but yes, ma'am. Much of the issue is that I can't talk to these people alone. They'll talk over me. If I make the phone calls alone, I have to have someone who's going to fight for me the same way they'd fight for their daughter if she was raped. And that's the horrible thing about being a disabled homeless man, is that you do have to have someone else fight for you or you're nothing. The situation with that guy Murphy, I mean, he started screaming the N-word at me and all the way back in Hood River. I had to flee Hood River because of abuse by law enforcement and go to the Dalles. And in the Dalles, I was abused by law enforcement and obviously the homeless community as well in all these places because I literally can't take care of myself and they're ignoring it. Miss Mojo Rising typed, I have a paralegal on our side. Well, I used to work for a paralegal in Washington State when I was in high school there. I went to Lincoln High School. It's a minority high school. By the way, the other officers I was forced to turn into themselves are Officer Scott DaCosta, and he was able to retaliate against me by utilizing his position of power to have me arrested and put in prison, and they still had to drop the charges. They had to drop the charges in the assault against me, where they charged me with assault. They had to drop the charges in that too. Same thing at Clearview Behavioral Health, where they sent me for trying to turn in Waylon Lolatai for assaulting me. Common practice. Well, they injected me with drugs instead of allowing me to call 911. I was being abused there too. They kept me longer than they should have. By the way, they're closed for killing a man and for taking people, or for holding people longer than they should have, and also for administrating unnecessary medications. Like, I saved a shit ton of evidence. I just can't process it. I can't function as a human being anymore. I'm stuck in public, and for somebody who is autistic, I have to have a safe place to defragment. People hurt us that much. They talk over us that much. They want to give us advice, but they don't understand that the mentally ill tag makes us perpetually at risk of abuse. Miss Mojo Rising typed really awesome. Absolutely. But much of the issue is that I've had to travel from one end of the country to the other to show people stuff in person because they're asking me to do everything over the internet. As soon as they find out I don't have proper internet access, I'm having to do this all over a phone because I can't even carry my stuff into the library. It takes me 2 or 3 days after taking my stuff upstairs to the library to go into that room, and I use the elevator. I don't walk up the stairs. I can't. Miss Mojo Rising typed, I lived in Washington, Seattle, Tri-Cities. Yep, I remember Seattle and SeaTac and Tacoma. I lived in Burien and Des Moines. I also lived I lived in Tacoma, obviously, and Kent as well. Yeah, I knew you meant Tri-Cities. I hope I said Tri-Cities instead of Theory Cities. Anyway, one of the issues that I've been having is that people offer to help, but then they don't have a name or any way to get back a hold of them. There's no way to make the calls safely without recording them. And, well, for example, with Natalie Bollinger, that's how all this started. Her predators became my predators. doggedroman@gmail.com is my email address. For these people to pretend that I'm not disabled at any point, I don't want to pay people for the help that I need. But I have to, and $822 a month isn't enough to live on anywhere in the United States, not even as a homeless person. Let me try to make that so you can read it. doggedroman@gmail.com. Maybe that'll work. I'm trying to make it so you can see it, but it's obviously I'm having to do this from inside of a car. I can't function in the environment that I'm in. It's literally not possible. And someone needs to explain to them that there is so much abuse that it is not possible for me to send it all or to process it even. I've had so many people take advantage of me that I said, hey, that's a bad idea, but mandated reporters or police told me to. When they send me back to my predators, that's a sure sign of stupidity. When that officer pulled that bullshit, I went back to that place to find out what the officer's name was so I could record it. That way I could get his body camera evidence. But instead, I was bullied by the police there. I was bullied by police everywhere that I went. I can't possibly process this stuff myself. I don't have the means. I don't have the mental capability because I am constantly in a state of panic because of all of these predatory individuals. And the excuse that they're only doing it because I recorded and that makes it okay to harm me. Well, that's not okay. Cops should have done their jobs at every step of the way. If I could get somebody to call 211 with me and explain to them what happened. Because I don't have the ability to send them the video. They don't give you any option or way to send it to them except over the internet. And that, I need to have an advocate to be able to turn that in, because otherwise it's going to be ignored or I'll be treated like I didn't send it or like they can't see it for some odd reason. All of the tricks that they pull, they can't pull those if there's somebody who cares about you. Anyway, I'm scared and I can barely function. Miss Mojo Rising, I'm holding on. I don't know what for. Yes, okay, I think I've got your Gmail. I'm gonna try to get some sleep. Could you type it in the bottom here and I'll tell you if it's right? I don't care if anyone else reads it. I don't hide shit unless I have to for safety purposes, obviously. My phone's down to 3% battery. Anyway, Miss Mojo Rising, good luck getting some sleep. I'm not gonna be able to, I'm too afraid. Miss Mojo Rising typed, I don't make promises. That said, I will do what I can. Hold on. Okay. Thank you. I'm gonna try to start my car. There's no safe place for me anywhere that I go. And somebody needs to recognize that and speak up about it. How I'm harmed because I'm not heard. I can't take care of myself. I can barely write my own name. I have to use the hand that barely works to hold a cane so that I can walk places, and that's not something that I used to have to do. I've had to use a cane several times, once before Natalie was killed, twice after. Is what all right? My car? No. Spelling. DOGGEDROMAN@gmail.com. It doesn't look like you typed it, so I can't tell if you typed it right or not. Or am I onto a different subject? I don't know. That's one of the difficulties in typing and also in having so much delay. Thank you for at least keeping me company on this. The thing is, there's a lot of other people like Eli talking about how they're spreading slanders, like saying that I'm messing with little girls or some shit like that. Like, this is not okay. It's not okay to spread that kind of slander, especially when it gets people killed. And it's especially not okay to do that just because you fucked up as a mandated reporter. It's a $600 fucking fine, for Christ's sake. Why are you gonna try to get someone killed over a $600 fucking fine? And that's the question I have for every single mandated reporter I went to. Miss Mojo Ryzen typed, I typed it. It didn't show up. Just type the name Dogged Roman. That might work. I don't know why it didn't show up. Anyway, I gotta use this phone to use as my speedometer. The one called Marcia Estrada, LIMHP, talking about Cindy Taylor, Jen Beebe, Tamara, and DaCosta. It's obvious that no matter what, no matter who I go to, they're just going to talk over me. There's also the proof that I ain't schizophrenic, but nobody will look at that. Take me to Tillamook Sporting Goods.
All right, Tillamook Sporting Goods. Let's go.
It's not safe for me to be at Tillamook Sporting Goods or anywhere else. I've got nowhere else to go. I've got a place up in the mountains, a bunch of stuff that's kind of sort of a camp, but I can't go to the camp because of my disabilities.
Closed by the time you arrive.
I paid people to help me with it, but the thing is, I'm being sent to
Head
drug
east
addicts
towards
for help.
Stillwell Avenue.
DOGGEDROWMAN. There's no W in it. The rest of it is correct, but there's no W. I'm down to my last $20.
Turn left onto Stillwell Avenue, then turn right onto First Street.
If anybody wants to send me a gift card for fucking Starbucks so I can get coffee once in a while, not that you should contribute to my habits. My address
In 300
is...
feet, turn left onto Fifth Street. Turn left onto Fifth Street.
My address is 701, P.O. Box 701, Tillamook, Oregon. And my name is Sean Schwartz. I don't like asking for anything. Most of us don't. But all of my money's been spent going from one mandated reporter to another for them to magically tell me that it's not their job, I'm not disabled enough. But then magically when I come to the courts, the cops just call me mentally ill and it's assumed that I'm a violent schizophrenic. Meanwhile, there are violent schizophrenic reporters on my channel. There's also Jim Roberts, or James Roberts, on my channel. He talks about a few of my predators. There's Robbie Farnsworth, he's on my channel. There's also one of the Sheriff's Department deputies here assaulting a 14-year-old girl. Turned out it was his niece. She was trying to turn in his brother. And we don't know what for, because instead of doing his job as a mandated reporter, he ran up to her and fucking tackled her.
Turn left onto 9th Street.
Well, actually, we went and grabbed her and then took a running start into the side of his squad car and then slammed her on the ground, but still, same basic thing. Anyway, thank you very much. I'm going to end this video. Good to be with you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper. And your sister's too. And no victim left behind. Shaka, baby, shaka. Alright, adios. And thank you.